Hi there. In this video, we're going to look at the top nutrition error that I see in my clients as a functional medicine practitioner. This is an error that most people make without even knowing, and we're going to break it down and see how to improve. But first, let's talk a bit about nutrition and where we are today. Dr. Weston Price, who's a dentist, went and visited multiple ancestral communities. These are communities that didn't receive industrialized food yet. And he was able to study how much nutrition was in their food compared to the modern food. And this is from a long time ago, so it just got worse since then. What he found was mind-boggling. These ancestral communities were getting orders of magnitude more vitamins, more minerals than we get today in our diet. They were getting 10 times more fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, and E. They were getting 50 times sometimes more minerals such as copper, magnesium, iron, and they just had way more of these building blocks. These are the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals. These are the building blocks that make your cell, that make your hair, that help your enzymes work. So if you're missing these, it's like you're in a starvation mode. It's like you're trying to build an office building and you don't have enough concrete, or you don't have enough like glass or windows. You're gonna have an unfinished or a deficient building, and it's the same for your body. So this is a big gap between ancestral nutrition and modern nutrition. And when you look at the modern diets we have today, actually most people are deficient in some of the nutrients. In the US, 100% of people don't get enough potassium. Many people don't get enough vitamin D, enough choline, enough vitamin E, vitamin K. So everyone or almost everyone is deficient in these important nutrients. And when people start optimizing their diet, the first thing they start doing is they start reading labels, right? And they're trying to get as many nutrients as possible from the labels. And that's a good first step. But everyone is making this error. And the error is that people don't think about bioavailability. The amount of nutrients that you see on a label is not going to be the amount of nutrients that your body is going to get and will be able to use. There is a difference between what the food contains and then what your body gets. Think of it as a tax system. And that tax is going to be different based on where do you get the nutrients from, what food do you get the nutrient from, what are you eating with that food, if there are anti-nutrients in that food. So some things or some of the elements that define why you might be getting 90% of the nutrients or 5% of the nutrients in a food is the presence of anti-nutrients, things such as phytic acid, oxalic acid, which bind to the nutrients. If you have nutrients in the wrong form, nutrients that need to be transformed before your body can use them, then you lose some of them in the process. Sometimes you're missing cofactors because your body needs other cofactors to actually be able to absorb properly the nutrient. All of these are reasons why you might be losing a lot of the nutrition you think you're getting. And let me illustrate this with a few examples. So when people are trying to get enough iron, a lot of people jump onto the spinach bandwagon, right? They think that spinach is going to give them a lot of iron because if you read the labels, you will see that spinach has a lot of iron. But the problem with this is that a lot of the iron in spinach is actually lost. The label might say you get 3 milligrams of iron, but actually your body only absorbs 5% of that. So 0.15 milligrams. It's such a small part and nowhere near what you actually need on a daily basis. On the other hand, if you eat meat or if you eat beef liver, you will get much more of the iron there. For example, 25% of the iron on the label is going to be absorbed. And this is because of two main things. The first one is that the iron that we get in meat is a different form of iron. It's hemi-iron, while iron that we get from vegetables or from vegetables and plants is non-hemi-iron. And these have different absorption rates. We are able to absorb the iron from meat much more. The second difference is that spinach has oxalic acid, so much of it that actually binds into the nutrient. It binds into the iron and doesn't let your body absorb it. It stays attached to it and it goes through you, essentially. So you're losing a lot of it. Another example is when people are trying to get calcium. You might think you're getting a lot of calcium from kale, but actually you only absorb 5%. On the other hand, when you get calcium from dairy, you end up absorbing 40%. So the form of calcium and the lack of anti-nutrients in dairy means that you get a lot more of the calcium that you're eating. Same for vitamin E. If you're getting vitamin A from carrots, you're actually getting a different form. It's a form that needs to be transformed by your body before it is readily available and usable by your body. And so in the process, you can lose a lot of that vitamin. And you end up with only 8% absorption from carrots. On the other hand, if you're getting vitamin A from egg yolks, you're actually getting the right form of vitamin A, the one that your body can directly use, and thus the absorption is much higher, 90%. So these are just a few examples that show you how there is a big gap between what the label says and then how much can your body get out of it. And so the question is, how do we go from here? Well, the first thing that I do when I work with clients is we look at their diet and we make sure that they get highly bioavailable, nutrient-dense food. It doesn't mean that you have to not eat spinach. Spinach gives you other benefits. It gives you fibers. It helps you feel full. So there are many things that spinach is good for, but it's not good for getting iron. So if someone is thinking that they're covered on the iron side because they're eating spinach, sorry to tell you this, you're not. So the first thing that we do is we look at my client's diet and we make sure that we bring enough nutrient-dense with high absorbability, nutrient-dense food with high bioavailability, with high absorbability. And we start from there. Now, if you are looking to improve your nutrition and feel healthier, I have a full 3-hour course called Ancestral Nutrition Reset. And here we go through all what you need to have a great diet for your health. We go through understanding nutrition and how it relates to our body's functions. We're going to talk about macros, how much protein you should eat, how much fat, which fat you should be using, how much carbs, and how to change that over the year. We're going to look at how to maximize nutrients. I'm going to give you a lot of hacks and tips to be able to get as much nutrients as possible in your diet, in the way you prepare food, etc. We're going to look at how to prepare food to maximize nutrients, minimize anti-nutrients, and make sure that you don't bring toxins into your food. We're going to talk about food quality, what to choose between raw, organic, pasteurized, all of these elements. What is the best form of each type of food? We're going to also talk about seasonal eating, how you should switch your diet over the year to adapt to the seasons. You're going to get shopping lists, you're going to get recipes, you're going to get handouts. If you really want to transform your health, this is a great way to get started very quickly. Obviously, you can find all of this if you search on it online and you spend time, but this is just a way to get you there much faster. Thank you.